Mike, you still don't even have a girlfriend anyway, right? I've always been the butt of jokes. At the reunion, an elite classmate looked down on me. I missed you so much I came to see you. Immediately after, a classmate is astonished when he sees the woman who appears. You're really lame, you know. Ha 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 ha. I awkwardly laughed off the comments without knowing how to respond. My name is Mike. I am a man who will turn 40 this year, whose only strengths are that I was always earnest and have worked hard in my studies. As you can guess, I've been teased ever since I was in school. I've consistently been made fun of by both men and women. Mike, you're really a lame guy. Seriously, you're not dull at all, and I pity you. They always teased me like this, and I couldn't even deny it. I just laughed and acted like a fool every time. I was pathetic, frustrated, but most of all I was always upset with myself for laughing it off and not talking back. I've always loved learning, and I was the top student in my grade. Thanks to that, I was able to get into a well-known university. In college life, I was not teased at all. I was feeling somewhat deflated because I was so braced for it. I know, it's childish. No one messes with me anymore in college. With that thought, I was at ease with my college life. The same was true when I joined the club, and I was enjoying my life as if my life earlier had been a joke. However, my joyful life dramatically changed at a certain point. I coincidentally overheard shocking words from a friend. Mike is pitiful, isn't he? His face is just ugly. Woman from the same club, whom I was quite fond of, was talking about me like that behind my back. I was on the verge of becoming distrustful of people. Moreover, in the club, that woman acted as if nothing had changed, smiling and interacting with me, which only hurt me more. I couldn't take it anymore and quit the club to immerse myself in my studies. If I focused on my studies, I didn't have to think about the things I didn't want to think about, and no one would ever bother me. And so, I graduated from university with excellent grades and was able to get a job at a major company. I was assigned to the IT department, where I rarely have to interact with others, as I had hoped. Every day was about maintenance and troubleshooting. Since I was dealing with machines, there were no weird anxieties, so I felt secure. It was my ideal job. Though I tried to avoid interacting with people as much as possible, conversations were essential for work-related communications and understanding the surrounding situation. I was scared to talk to other people, and each time I did, I got a weird reaction, but it was a lot better than when I was a student. And then, a few years later, I learned about a new female employee in another department, named Laura Lauren. My colleagues were amazed by her appearance, because she was an incredibly beautiful woman. When I happened to pass by and saw her, I was not only surprised by her beauty but also felt envious. This company hires based on academic performance. Moreover, she was in the administrative sales department. Unlike me, she seemed to excel at communication, as she was always surrounded by people. Laura is quite pretty, isn't she? And she's great at her job too, truly a perfect person. I wondered if I could have led a shining life like hers if I had her looks and communication skills. What's that? One day on my way to work, I found a wallet on the side of the road. The wallet looked quite pretty, probably belonging to a woman. It was a bit out of my way, but I decided to take it to the nearby police station. Please take this with you, said the officer, handing me a found property receipt. Holding this meant that if the owner didn't show up within a certain period, the wallet's ownership would transfer to me. Checking my phone, I realized I was running late for work due to the time spent at the police station. Wait, I'm going to be late. Oh no. In my rush to leave the station, I bumped into a woman trying to enter. The woman who bumped into me fell on her butt. Despite my hurry, I blamed myself for not being careful enough and causing trouble to someone else. Trying to do a good deed, only to end up complicating my own life. It felt like my life was a perfect example of clumsiness. "I'm so sorry, are you okay?" I asked the woman who had fallen. "I'm sorry too, I was in a hurry." When I offered my hand, she took it, and I gently helped her up. And when I saw her turn to me, I froze for a moment. The woman I had bumped into was Laura. Hurting such a beautiful woman made me feel down, but I first needed to make sure she wasn't injured. "I'm terribly sorry for bumping into you. Are you hurt?" "I'm fine. I just lost my balance. I was in a panic because I lost my wallet." "Your wallet?" I explained about the wallet I had found earlier. Her face lit up instantly. "That's my wallet." The wallet I found was safely returned to her hands. Although we both hurried to our workplace, we ended up being late. "I'm sorry, I was late because I had to drop off a found wallet at the police station." "All right, just this once, okay." After explaining the situation to my boss, I was relieved to be let off the hook. At lunchtime, as I was heading out, I saw Laura standing at the entrance, waving at me. She's looking over at me and waving her hand, and I quietly turn around to check behind me. There was no one behind me. She's waving at me, right? As I nervously approached Laura, she greeted me with a bright smile. "I want to thank you for this morning by treating you to lunch." "Oh no, that's okay, don't worry about it." No matter how much she appreciated it, I was never comfortable getting a woman younger than me to treat me. I still felt like I'd rather treat her. "Mike, you're my hero for finding my treasure. This wallet contains a photo of my late mother." She shared that she lost her mother to illness at a young age and was raised by her father alone. Her mother had always lived in the hospital, but a photo she kept in her wallet was the only one of her mother looking healthy and smiling brightly in the park, making it her treasure. If it's a treasure, you might say I should keep it at home, but I just can't bear to part with it. I need it with me all the time. As I listened to her story, my mind was racing. Having heard such a story from her, I felt compelled to offer some kind words of comfort. However, as someone who has hardly ever spoken to women, I wondered what I could say that would be appropriate without making things worse. "I don't know what to say, it's just too sad." After much thought, I decided to be honest and express exactly how I felt. After speaking, I internally chastised myself for not being able to say anything more insightful. I may not be able to talk to anybody in the future if the beautiful woman looks at me coldly. Apprehensively, I checked her expression. But she didn't seem to be in the worst-case scenario I had imagined. Instead, perhaps pleased by my response, she wore a warm smile. "If you won't let me treat you, I'll bring you some delicious sweets next time." As she said this and left, I once again found myself unable to utter a cool response or even wave goodbye. Here, just as promised. Oh, thank you." Laura indeed brought sweets to my department on another day. They were the kind of expensive-looking sweets you'd find in a department store, and I hesitated for a moment to accept them, but her smiling enthusiasm made me cave in and take them. "Wow, Laura gave you sweets. Man, I wish a beauty like her would give me something too." My colleagues looked on with surprise and envy. Wanting to escape their gazes, I left the workplace as soon as it was time to go home. Once home, I nervously opened the box of sweets. Inside were elegant cookies that could be savored slowly over several days, and even a tin of tea leaves that would be perfect with the cookies. There seemed to be a letter in the box as well. It was written in lovely, handwritten script. "You can count on me if you need anything." Her contact information was written at the bottom of the letter. It seemed I was faced with another dilemma. The letter included her contact information, but I had no idea what to do. I stared at the contact details, paced aimlessly around the room, and even took a bath to try and clear my head. And so I spent a good hour worrying about it. I couldn't help but thank Laura for the cookies, so I made up my mind to contact her. "This is Mike. The cookies and tea were delicious, thank you very much." I texted Laura that was vague no matter how many times I reviewed it. As soon as I texted, a ringtone rang from my phone indicating a reply from her, and in my panic, I took a breath and slowly peeked at my phone. "I'm glad to hear that." Her reply was brief. I was a little embarrassed at how I was feeling now, as this was the first time I had ever exchanged texts with a woman in this way. From that day on, I started receiving texts from her frequently. Each time, I agonized over how to respond, taking my time with each message, though her replies always came quickly. At first, it took me a while, but as we continued to exchange messages, I gradually became more comfortable, and it felt like chatting with a friend. Time passed, and I turned 40. An invitation to my high school reunion arrived, leaving me undecided about attending. In elementary and middle school, many of them had grown up together since childhood, so I was not teased that much, but in high school, I met many people for the first time, and it is no exaggeration to say that I was teased the most. But I'm turning 40, and it's time for me to stop worrying about being messed with. I have no good memories at all, but I thought it would not be right to drag out the past any longer, so I replied to attend the reunion. Since I didn't have any particularly close classmates, I had no idea who would be attending. But once gathered, it was clear who was who. Despite everyone being older, the faint traces of our younger selves were still there. Following the faint traces of our younger selves, I mentally confirmed each person's name. I immediately recognized those who used to tease me. The atmosphere was as if they had simply grown older without truly maturing, chatting amicably around. I tried to keep my distance by sitting far away, but it seemed they were greeting everyone, and they easily spotted me and came over. "Are you, by any chance, Mike?" "Well, yes." He had aged, but his personality seemed unchanged. Sitting beside me with an annoying grin, he started talking. "Whoa, it's that Mike. You're still looking as dull as ever." Ha 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 ha. My response hasn't changed from the past either, and I just laughed at the appropriate moment and covered it up. Prompted by his voice, a few more classmates came over and joined in. "I've always been good, right? I'm on my way to becoming an elite. I bought this watch with my bonus the other day, and I work for a very huge company. My wife's a real beauty, you know, every day's just fantastic." Several classmates boasted, seemingly trying to one-up me. I responded with a polite laugh, but they asked condescending questions. "Anyway, you're working for a crappy company, aren't you? Because you're a piece of crap, you'll never make it in a big company." "No, I work for a big company too." "What?" As soon as he heard where I worked, he apparently didn't like it, and his earlier good mood went away, and now he was grumpily engaging with me. "Come on, you've always been a loser in life. Mike, you still don't even have a girlfriend anyway, right?" At their words, I lift my left hand to prove it. Noticing the ring on my finger, they seemed a bit surprised. But they quickly scoffed and looked at me disdainfully. "Don't be vain, you're Mike anyway." Sure, being single at this age might be embarrassing, but it's not good to lie with a fake ring on your finger, is it? He even messed with me for wearing a fake ring just to impress them. Ridiculous. If that's true, it's too lame. But then, a savior appeared to rescue me from my plight. "Hey, I missed you so much I came to see you." "Huh?" Caught off guard by the sudden embrace from behind, I let out a foolish sound. A woman hugged me from behind, intertwining her arms with mine. "Hello everyone, I've heard about you from my husband." She said hello, and everyone's attention was riveted on her. She was strikingly beautiful and young, leaving them speechless at her sight. But eventually, one cautiously asked, "Well, who is this?" "She's Laura Lauren." "Well, it's Laura Bland now. We got married recently. Since then, Laura and I have grown closer through texting, and we started dating after her somewhat pushy approach. I was indecisive even about where to go on dates, but her excellent communication skills always helped us find places we'd both enjoy. I have shown her all the pathetic aspects of me, but she was not appalled by this kind of me and stayed with me for a long time. At first I had a hard time coping with the fact that everything was new to me, but as I got to know her, I began to see her as an irreplaceable and precious person. If we were to get married, I'd change my last name. What? I panicked, having made a proposal that I had not intended at all. As I was floundering around thinking about how I could somehow make the proposal even cooler, Laura grabbed my hand to calm me down. I love your down-to-earth nature. Laura, you should have absolutely turned a blind eye to the purse I lost at that time, if you considered you were in a hurry to work, but you didn't. I was attracted to you because of your sweet nature, she said, leaving me even more bewildered with her heartwarming words. To add to that, she continued, I want to change my last name to yours. Hearing her response, I felt a warm sensation deep inside me. Laura accepted me as I was, and I felt like my old self was saved, and I really was grateful to her for that. And to this day, it was Laura who saved me from this situation, and I can't thank her enough at all. I'm sorry to have disturbed you, my dear. No, it's actually perfect timing. The atmosphere here seems a bit off, so I think I'll head home early. Laura's arrival had caused a stir at the reunion. With all eyes on us, the guys nearby seemed frustrated. Let's go now. I was pulled outside by Laura's unexpectedly strong grip. Outside, the bustle of the indoors was replaced by a serene quiet. I'm sorry, you seemed troubled yesterday, so I was worried and came to check on you. No, really, you saved me, thank you. You should have talked back to them. She must have witnessed everything. I hadn't noticed her, even though she might have been waiting for the right moment to step in. We've kind of ruined the reunion. How about we go for a drink somewhere before heading home? We are going on a date now. Where should we go? I'm happy to go anywhere as long as I'm with you. Thanks to her, I was able to confront my difficult past. Determined to protect this happiness in our future, I'm motivated to work hard every day.